What's going on, everybody? We are back. It's your friend Will. This is the Memory Lapse. And, boy, did we have a tough last 36 hours. I think we streamed on Wednesday night. Maybe only won 2 games total. And then recorded in the morning as well and continued to lose. So we are back down at the bottom of Diamond 4 after just a vicious loss streak. I don't blame the deck at all. I think these things are bound to happen when you play best of one, when you're playing on the ranked ladder. It's an extremely punitive system, and it's designed that way to make it mythic hard to achieve. So, it is what it is. I still think we're going to get there, and we'll talk about when we're going to do that in a second. But what we're going to do this week, given that we've kind of spent a lot of time on the Explore deck, people didn't enjoy watching it in multiple videos. Like the third video did extremely poorly. So we have to change decks. So we're going to play some fun decks this week since we're at the floor of Diamond. We're going to start off today with this green-red Explore Frenzy deck. It's a deck that's always been in the back of my mind. It's something I've wanted to play. The original list uses... We'll start with the original list. We were playing this a little bit on stream last night. Played 3 Fight with Fires. So the basic idea here, you have your Explore package with a little bit of ramp. You try to get out a Wayward Swordtooth and Experimental Frenzy to go off. Path of Discovery helps you go off even more. And eventually you're just going to either attack with Swordtooths, which are just 5/5s, or a big Wildgrowth Walker and beat them that way. Or you're going to kick a Fight with Fire, or just get them with a big Banefire. And you've got Treasure Map to help you smooth it out, and Fiery Cannonade as a concession to Mono White, though in 2 hours of play last night, I don't think we played against a single Mono White deck, which is really bizarre. We played against almost exclusively Jeskai and Fog last night, over 2 hours. So I don't know how this is going to fare. If we're losing a lot, we can think about taking the Cannonades out, because maybe we just don't need them with the Explore package, or we can think about trimming the Fight with Fires. So we're going to start here. And as we play, you can see we've got other decks ready. We've got an Abzan deck, a mono green Stompy deck, which I'm kind of interested in playing, a Naya Tokens deck, an Omniscience deck. So we have a lot of decks that we're going to play. Try to devote an hour to each of them, and maybe tweak them along the way while we're playing best of one. If we get lucky, maybe we'll even rank up once or twice over the course of this series, which I'm calling Diamond in the Rough. It's a little bit of a play on words. Hopefully you enjoy that. And then the tentative plan is to just play these fun decks this week, showcase some oddball stuff while we can't really get punished for it. And then next weekend, I'm going to have a lot of time to stream, it looks like, and I'll probably use that time to do a really hard push to Mythic. This. So we have the potential for a turn 2 Swordtooth into a Wildgrowth Walker's Jadelight Ranger turn. Because we can go land, Swordtooth land, which will put us at 4 total. Not blocking. Maybe on this hand it's better to wait on the Swordtooth and rather go just Walker into Jadelight Ranger. This is one of the things I've definitely noticed about this deck, is how awkward the Swordtooth actually is. Like, it's very smart or very interesting in execution, or like in design, but yeah, it doesn't usually get there in execution. Like, a lot of the time you're just playing a 5/5 that does nothing, you get to play one other land, and then you don't have any more in your hand, so it really doesn't ramp you from the initial. It just helps you get through your deck once you have a Frenzy in play. So let's just do this. Maybe we bait out a bait them into spending a turn, convoking removal for it. That would be cool. They almost always have one Conclave Tribunal. We know this is just a fact of this deck. It is impossible for them not to have one. Oh. or they're just delaying it a turn. So we know this is Conclave Tribunal. Alright. There's Jadelight here. Important to remember that we can kick Fight with Fire and actually divide the damage. They're at basically no cards. I'm joking. We don't actually know that this is a Conclave Tribunal. I mean, we're going to find out very soon, because whatever it is, they're going to use it. But we can afford to block and take hits now. We'll have to decide next turn between playing the Swordtooth and double landing, or playing the Path of Discovery and then waiting a turn to play the Swordtooth to get the Explore trigger. Alright. So, yeah, some awkward. This one's not being protected. No, it is. So this one's not being protected. And this one's not being protected. But these two things are being protected. So we can take 4, 7, 8, 9. Make them with 2 creatures. We don't really care too much about losing the Jadelight. Looks like they don't have the Tribunal, because I think they almost certainly would have done it pre-combat to remove this blocker. Alright, I think we do want to gain the life. The Swordtooth can't block anyways. Still too shy on permanents. 4, 5, 6, 7. So next turn we can go 8, 9, and with the land on top 10, the Swordtooth can block. Ooh. Does this mean we're dead? So if we block 3 and 5, we took 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, yeah, we're okay. Though of course we just get further away now from the Swordtooth. Actually, we can block 4. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and next turn we gain 3. Yeah, so definitely not in an amazing spot. We can actually use the Fight with Fire here to get rid of the Loxodon. Question is, do we want to do that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can now block the Loxodon. And we take 2, 3, 4, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're pretty close to kicking this. I'm just not sure that we're going to need to. Yeah, I don't think we're going to need to wipe the board, so let's just do that. Saves ourselves some damage. Any creatures we hit, we're going to heal. Any lands we hit, push us towards a bigger Banefire. Oh, obviously our preference, I think, is to hit creatures and explore into lands. We also can draw a Cannonade. Nice. Looks like they bricked here. Maybe they're going to sit back and just make a token. That's sick for us. Swordtooth. I think with the Swordtooth we actually just get in and determine they make a token, we Cannonade. By tapping this mana down, they won't be able to like +1/+1 us to save anything. Oh shoot. Is it going to give me the option? Yep. So now, even if they draw another reinforcements, we're okay. We only take 6. So Wildgrowth Walker gained us 9 life here, which, if you can look at our total life total, made quite the difference. We didn't even draw Frenzy here. We basically just played the Wildgrowth Walker plan. Seems like our opponent's in a bad spot, so they probably played the land they were holding last turn. What do they have now? They have a Conclave. Tribunal. It's kind of a tough pick for them. Just locks it on. So we can swing with both. If they take 9, they're dead. Because we can hit them for 6. And if they block, they're not in a good spot either. Looks like they chose to take the 9. They get Banefire for 6. So not the prettiest win, but a win nonetheless. We'll take it. Oh hey, we're even making progress towards our quest here. Getting close to 120k gold. So that's like a little more than 4 boxes. Is it 40 packs per box? Or 3 boxes? Yeah. And supposedly that new set's coming out on the 17th. I don't know if that's like noon on the 17th or like midnight on the 17th. So it's keepable. Ooh. This looks like a deck that might struggle against us. They're not going to block. It's going to depend on how permission heavy their draw is. They're on the Nightveil Sprite plan. And the next turn we're going to decide if they don't have 2 mana up, we're going to play the Path, I think. And we'll delay growing the Walker a turn. Looks like they're digging for land here. If they have 2 mana up, it's a little bit scary. Although maybe them countering Path is fine. Okay, so they're digging. So we get to play Path, and I think we're going to hold back Llanowar Elves to activate the treasure map. They could have had Spell Pierce there. It's hard to know like what little weird 1 and 2 ofs this deck might play. Right? We're winning the race in a big way here. It says stop on our upkeep because we might want to go digging. Potentially find a second Explore creature would be nice. Any other creature would be nice. Alright. So we are free to resolve here. I guess we'll take this land. In which case I probably shouldn't have used the treasure map. But we get 2 explorers. And we hit all land. It's okay. We're still well winning the race. I guess at this point we have to worry about things like sleep. If they hold back to block, that's a very good sign. We have to worry about sleep and like consecutive tricksters and stuff to make it hard for us to attack through at this point. We're just gonna get rid of any lands. We have 2 more. Alright, so let's see if they flash in a Trickster and give us a free chance to resolve something here. Looks like a no. Let's go for it. Now they have a Trickster. Oh, so it's gonna lose its life gain stuff here. Definitely worth playing this, I think, off the treasures. To be able to get the extra lands. Now we have 2 things that can attack through the Tempest Djinn. We're at a healthy 19. We're pretty live to finding Banefire, etc. Did they play land? I think it was retort in the graveyard. So I guess they could have sleep here. If they didn't play land yet. Alright, they can Trickster 1, but they can't Trickster both. And the new one's gonna go off. Wow. Alright, we just get 3 lands off the top there. Alright. Banefire probably gets us there next turn. Make them do some blocking. Just to make it less likely that we somehow die. So even though we're going to be drawing this here, we can just crack the Frenzy, play 2 lands out of our hand, and we'll be fine. So even if they are playing to a sleep or some kind of like upheaval style effect here, so they've actually kept up with us on cards, which is kind of amazing. But they resolved a couple charts there too. Cool, 2 in a row. Unexpected, to say the least. So far, I haven't wanted to make any changes. But some of the cards, like the Cannonades, are obviously clunky in a lot of matchups. The Fight with Fires are kind of clunky. Alright, well, if this is a matchup where Cannonade will be good, we have one. Otherwise, we just have a trio of green creatures here. Definitely have played this player before. Let's just ramp against them because I think they're on some kind of control plan. The danger of this is if they kill the elf here. Yep, we don't have the second green source for Jadelight Ranger. Oh. But we're gonna get blessed in this series, maybe. We definitely want this path, I think. That will help us a lot. Here you can see the awkwardness of Swordtooth. We got the 1 extra land drop, and you know, what's it done for us lately? Not much. 4, 5, 6, 7. It's still quite far from yeah, might as well. So they're almost certainly keeping land on top here. Go Bolus. It's fine. So there is actually a path to us playing both of these Jadelights this turn. If we hit double land off the first one, we have 3 shots. There's one. Oh, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We're 1 shy. And crack for 6 though. And now we're in like potentially just Banefire them out territory, and they're sitting back, and they do have to answer our board like over and over again. Not really sure how that answers the board. I think we just want the 3 explore triggers first and try to hit double land again. This also digs us closer to Banefire. And we have a nice little lethal attack here. So now they have to spend mana again on their turn to enter the board. These Fiery Cannonades are good fodder for the Eldest Reborn. Yep, and this don't have it. Alright, there we go. Plus 600, 3 in a row. Rattling them off. I'll add if anyone has any interesting, weird, tier 2-ish competitive decks they want me to try this week before we make our big push to Mythic. You should post them below. Should have said that at the beginning of the video. If this lives, we'll be pretty happy. Let's look at the Jadelight. Seems unlikely though. Yeah, the one downside to Cannonade is that it's good at cleaning up the little creatures out of red, but it's not good at anything else. Like, doesn't answer the Chain Whirler, which could be coming down here. I think they would just slam it if they had it. Okay. Yeah. In this situation, I think we have to Cannonade before this team can literally runs away with the game. We have to do it on our turn so that they can't grow it in response. And the Swordtooth can't block. Basically has no text box right now. Until we build up a board. But we might have the chance to do it. We are at a fairly healthy life total. Ooh. So as long as this is not a deal 3, we're in a spot where we can gain a bunch of health next turn. Or as long as what they drew is not a deal 3. Alright. Don't want them to have the cards. We can take the 6 because we're going to gain 6 back. Obviously dangerous, but if we hit a green source here, we can double explore. Don't think we need that. So stop on our upkeep as well. I think we are not going to be able to afford to take a turn spending all our mana playing Path. I think we're going to need to keep playing creatures down and growing the Walker when we can. Alright. So we know they have nothing, so they really can't attack into the Wildgrowth Walker here, which means we get another free turn. Absolutely take that. This probably prompts a concession from them. Fine. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think we're ever blocking with this. But I think we do want to keep putting pressure on them. Next turn the 5/5 comes down, it's actually a creature. Unless they destroy a lot of stuff here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need that. We can afford to block with 1. Interesting that they played their land instead of holding it for risk factor. Alright, so yeah, we're fully, I think, in control of this game. We're at 15. Even with Chapter 3 of Keld popping off, there's not too much I think we have to worry about. We have ample blockers. And next turn we can just Slam Frenzy, and I think we can just go off and probably gain some more life. Alright, so to look at the reading of this. So we would take 6 and go to 9, but I think we'll do it. Denying them the cards is a big game. Alright, I think we can draw that. Yeah, let's just move this and break our treasure map. Alright, we can win in short order off this fight with fire if we need to. It's a sorcery, so we can't do anything with it on our upkeep. Alright, so now we can cast this one 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so we can kick this 3, 6, 9, yeah. Do it like this. Alright. So 3 to you, 1 to you, 3 to you, 3, 3, 6, 9, 10. Alternatively, we just could have gone 10 to the face. But come on, it's fun to do it that way. Alright, 4 in a row. Very weird. Now that we're not playing against control decks, we actually have like some game against these aggro decks. Sicken. On the play, I think we can try to keep this as we get to go Swordtooth into Frenzy. And then try to live the dream off the Frenzy. Ooh. How does it feel to be playing a deck where Thought Erasure is actually good against you? Not good. Then we're playing for like the Banefire win here. Do they see if they have cast down? Up to 6 lands though. Imagine if we had Experimental Frenzy that turn. They pretty much knew we'd do that, which makes me think they have a second Nicol Bolas. It's okay, we'll just discard this dead Fiery Cannonade. Oh, Doom Whisperer. Oh, this is looking like an L. That Thought Erasure basically won them the game. They're gonna dig for like an Eldest Reborn here. Because that would just be like a nice in-your-face kind of rub it in play against me. Oh, looks like they... Whatever they have on top. Maybe they have another Doom Whisperer too. That's worth keeping. But my money's on Eldest Reborn. It's impossible to resist. Oh no, Nicol Bolas. Alright, well this is definitely a loss. But this is exactly the type of deck that's going to crush us, I think. Although we did beat it a couple games back. And we kept a hand that was all in on the Frenzy. Like, we didn't have 2 drops or anything to apply pressure. So, we're kind of asking for that. But again, this is the type of deck that we've played with and then failed to win a single game with on the ladder because you play this, right? Well, what if I'm mono white? You need to have your Moment's Cravings and stuff. Like, that card you lose by playing that. So you're just playing the wrong... You just hope that you draw the right half of your deck in the right matchup. I'm not sure that's that good. This deck kind of has a similar problem, which is why I think it's not that competitive, but... Now they're just having fun, because they don't even really need to do this. Nothing we can draw. That would have been a fun one if we hit Frenzy, though. Or at least we would have had, I think we would have been competitive in it. 37 minutes, so we have time for a couple more. Alright, we can keep. Double Frenzy is a little bit of a bummer, but the upside of it is that you're not going to hit a second Frenzy on top as often. Alright, looks like they are control. So now we're hitting a pocket of control players. It's a winnable matchup, but it requires that you resolve like a Frenzy at some point so that you can get to... Maybe they're not control. Yeah, they're not. Okay. Usually Sacred Foundry tap makes me think control. They don't have a 1-drop. Oh, that was a good draw. Our hand is very bad. But if their draw is slow, although I think they're most likely going... If they kept a no 1-drop hand, they must have like History of Benalia here. Yeah. Or they're going to Conclave Tribunal. Oh, they're playing like Angels. So they're just going to Wrath away. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, we're in a really bad spot, though, not having drawn a land. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we lost this one now. I think we had a shot if we drew land in any of those first 3 draw steps. Just to help us get there. But yeah, missing land drop twice or once is just it puts us too far behind, I think. And we're potentially looking at missing it twice here if the top of the deck is not kind to us. Okay. Don't really know what the best way to proceed is, unfortunately. The Swordtooth doesn't do anything, but it helps us if we draw land and play Frenzy next turn. Maybe we just go Elf, Treasure Map. Ugh, this sucks. It just feels like we've lost the game on turn 3 when we missed the land drop. But again, best of 1, right? You're just going to have those losses. I don't think we can afford to block yet. So we do kind of want to have a shot at getting our Swordtooth into an actual creature. Alright. I think we just lost. Yeah. We just can't win. Alright, so the deck was not kind to us that game. And they made a pretty heads-up play there, taking the... I mean, not that it would have mattered too much. Ultimately, our Wildgrowth Walker would have just been a 2/4, but... Still... Alright, another very speculative but vulnerable hand. Yuck. I think we're going Path of Discovery into Frenzy here and hoping that we can survive. Oh, with that missing a land drop, though. I think we want to fight with fire one of these. We want to keep them off of like Loxodon and stuff. Alright, we might get lucky here if they keep missing land drop. We're going to gain a ton of life next turn, and then we can go into Experimental Frenzy. If they can't Tribunal us here, it's almost even worth considering blocking there. Almost. Shit. Maybe we don't want that. Oh no, it's gonna make the whole board bigger, so this is fine. And then we can decide next turn playing that versus Frenzy. Because the chances are, coming out of this turn, we might be... I mean, they might just scoop here. We're gonna gain... Yeah, 6 and 1 more. We're gonna gain 9 more, we'll be at 24. So I do like the upside of the Path of Discovery, just Wildgrowth Walker free wins is nice. Like that package of free wins, even without the Path of Discovery, is super nice on ladder against a lot of the aggressive decks. The downside is we're playing some weird cards. Like the Fight with Fires have been awkward, other than like the 1 or 2 times they've been okay. But I'm not sure what you play over them. Maybe something like Thrashing Brontodon, that's a good blocker. And just double down on those matchups, like trying to beat the more aggressive decks, and just hope the Banefires. Maybe you play a 3rd Banefire. Maybe you play more land. I don't know, because it feels like we get stuck a fair amount here. Alright, so this is probably Fog. So we need to push damage and get to Path of Discovery. And then just hope that we can go off. If we can get them low enough and get into a Banefire range, find a Banefire. So they're looking for land, maybe. Interesting if they would put the chart away. It's pretty good. Alright, so from this point forward, they're probably fogging us or wrapping us, so definitely getting the path down. The fear, of course, is that they're just going to go turn Forts of Fairy and plus it, and we're just kind of stuck at that point if they have a good number of fogs. This is, I think, an almost unwinnable matchup. If they have Teferi. If they are looking for Teferi, can't find it, then we actually have a shot at like dragging the game out and finding a Banefire. But if they quick Teferi you, you have no way to interact with it. Because your Banefire is not going to be big enough early on. So they'll probably just take another 5 here. We get 2 Explore triggers. It's not what we're looking for right now. Alright, so this is enough that they'll have to fog. Or they'll have to use a Nova. Alright, so they're filling their graveyard for search. They're digging for land. Looks like they're missing, which means we might have a shot if they're stumbling here. No, they found one. They could also have settle. Let's see what damage they do to us here. Pause for reflection. Alright, Resolving Frenzy will be good. Resolving Frenzy potentially puts us in. Alright, so do they have enough? 3, 4, 5, 6. So they don't have enough to untap and take a turn here. And we're just digging the Banefire. No need to play the elf, I don't think. So we want to do all this before we attack. Wow, completely break on lands. 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, so this is either getting fogged or settled. Alright, so definitely a little bit of trouble now because they can find nexuses, fogs. If they brick though, then we get to untap. I mean, I think we probably are like 90% to lose from this point, but we have outs. And our outs involve them, their deck that's basically all deck manipulation and fogs, not having it. So I call those long odds. Yeah. Alright, so they put the Nexus back in. Then they dig. They keep one. And put a Root Snare down. So that's gotta almost certainly be a Nexus. for them to do that. If they're also getting rid of a root snare in the process, which is basically a nexus. I'd almost be tempted to keep both of them if I were them. Patient rebuilding. Well, if they can still probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in their end step, they can untap and play Nexus. And I still think that's what's going to happen here. So there's definitely a world here where somehow they fizzle. I guess we'll give it until they ult to Fairy. But if they fizzle, we get to untap and 4, 5, 6, 7. Or we can hit like 8. Or we can just hit like land Banefire and kill them. Provided they don't have to revitalize. Alright, yeah, no, they got us. Like I said, this matchup is, I think, near impossible for us because we have the nightmare combination of basically no interaction and no meaningful clock. So yeah, you need to have one or two of those to beat the fog deck. Or I mean, I think yeah, there's probably scenarios where we steal games where we get a Banefire, but I don't know, maybe almost an argument to go for a third Banefire, like cut the 3 fight with fires and add in like 1 Banefire and 2 Thrashing Brontodons. Brontodon seems good against a lot of matchups. So imagine if they didn't have Search for Escanta there. Yeah, so this is a hand that looks good, right? But I think based on the games we played this morning, we know that this is a mulligan. If they do anything, we lose, right? We need our 2 drops and stuff that can actually interact with the board. So this is a bit better. We're all in on Experimental Frenzy here. Oh. Alright, the top of our deck is going to tell us if we win or lose this one. Oh, I think we should certainly keep them honest with Dive Down. They're telling us they have it, but let's make them prove it. And we don't really have anything better to do this turn. Looks like they have it. Spell Pierce just as good. No, now it's just a question of how many Wizard's Retorts they've drawn. Because if they can just kind of retort us from here, we're never going to get back in the game. Awful draw. But do we just have to Frenzy this turn? I kind of feel like we do. They retort it and we lose. Spell Pierce. So I think if we lose this one, we're going to end up being +1 on the series, which is, I guess, more or less expectation. I think that actually even going 50-50 is above expectation for this deck because the draws are so awkward. I'm not really sure what to do. Like, the Explore package seems necessary, but it makes the speed of the deck a lot slower. Like, it feels like this deck is kind of between two things. It's like, you can imagine a version of this deck that plays a lot more burn, that can get through the deck quicker once you play a Frenzy, and uses the dinosaurs to help you. Yeah, like we just drew nothing this game too. Like a deck that plays like Shocks and Lightning Strikes and uses those both as like anti-aggro and then as a way to win. So let's look at that real quick. I mean, if we clone this. So you would do something like, you probably keep the treasure maps. the Swordtooth. You take out the paths. You probably go up a Frenzy. And definitely play Shock, play Lightning Strike. Anything else that you'd like definitely want to play that deals damage? I mean, you could play Lava Coil, though it's a little more awkward because it's not an instant. You could play like the Pyromancer. Add another Banefire. You could also play like different ramp. You could play what's it called? Oh, you could look to play some of these things to help you get keep moving through your deck too. So you could play a version of this that's like a little more all-in. On the Pyromancer's like a maybe. It's like a hard maybe on the Pyromancer. Where is it? Gifts of Paradise. Yeah, you probably don't need Pyromancer. Play something like this. I think it's another direction you can go with the deck. Now, the other thing is that this deck is probably going to get a lot, potentially, I won't say probably, but it's potentially going to get a lot better with the next set. Obviously, we get another dual land, which is huge, and we get whatever good Gruul type card you might find. Just trying to think like what else. You can consider playing Carnage Tyrant in a build like this, or Palaka Worm to ramp into. Like, what if you did that? You play like 2 Palaka Worm. It's just like a big old boy. Are any of these good? Not yet. So yeah, things to think about. I mean, something like this, like being able to draw the cards and get more land in play for Wayward Swordtooth, and then be able to move land off the top of your deck when you have Experimental Frenzy, and it's a blocker, and you're playing Shock and Lightning Strike with your Cannonade. So I think you still are probably pretty good against aggro. You know, let's do one bonus game. I mean, we'll see what we play against. Let's do one bonus game here. One bonus game, and then we have to get ready to go out for the day. Although I might stream a little bit later this afternoon while I'm cooking and doing laundry. This hand kind of does something. I wish I could remember what this person was playing. I want to say they're playing aggro. Yep. So now if they kind of have nothing, we can play the Green Seeker. I still play the Green Seeker, I think. And then we'd look to Cannonade next turn. Hope they don't like have a really good Loxodon turn. Maybe we need to Lightning Strike to prevent the Loxodon. No. Alright, so we're going to Cannonade in their upkeep. Let's remember this. Let's set both these stops, because we want to do it at the right time. Oh, I can't get priority here. So I just do it here. To prevent them from the city's blessing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Let me take our 3. Wow. Just dump your whole hand. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just lightning strike one of these now. Thank you. So I'm pretty sure if we can resolve Palaka Worm, we're fine. The best way to do that is just by hitting land here. I think we still have to block though. And oh, well, we kind of bricked. We had a lot of shots to, yeah. I think you can see, like, obviously we're gonna lose this one. This is the only one we're gonna play. But we had shots to, wow, and they like ripped the 2 permanent draw. We had shots there with those activations to hit double land, and I think Palaka Worm and we win. But, you know, it is what it is. But anyways, I think this is maybe the direction I would look to take the deck, because the early interaction is good. I think the Green Seeker's okay, it blocks. Still not sold in the fights, like maybe we can change these to something else. I don't want to craft more Palaka Worms for this deck, but maybe there's like another form of ramp that these can become. I think ramp is important for this deck. Maybe even Shivan Fires can come in. At least their instant speed. Goblin Crater Maker is not especially interesting. I mean, Steam can, although that's kind of a nombo with the Fiery Cannonade. Anyways, we're thinking about and keeping filed away for sure for the next set. But yeah, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed our first edition of Diamond in the Rough, or Diamond is Rough. And fun deck. We got some good wins. Hard fought. None of the wins were super easy, except for the ones where our opponents didn't do anything. And I mean, it doesn't kind of matter what you're gonna play, you're gonna win those. So that's it for this one. We went over an hour. Nice little bonus for you all. And yeah, we'll I'm probably going to post this on Monday now that I think about it. But yeah, be on the lookout for streams, etc. All that info is below. Like, subscribe, and comment, and stay tuned for more coming soon.